updates from the region and over to diplomacy now, where Israeli Foreign Minister Gideon Saar has announced that Israel has accepted a US ceasefire proposal to end the war in Gaza. Speaking in Budapest, Saar said the deal would require the release of hostages and Hamas to lay down its arms. Let's listen in.
President Trump said it clearly yesterday. Israel said yes to his proposal. We are ready to accept a full deal that would end the war based on the cabinet decision. Two things must happen. One, the return of our hostages. We still have 48 hostages kidnapped from their homes on October 7th being held in Gaza today. Second thing, Hamas must lay down its arms. Immediately after landing in Budapest, I received terrible news from our country. This morning there was a horrific terror attack in our capital, Jerusalem. 2 Palestinian terrorists murdered Jews on buses at the remote junction in the entrance to Jerusalem. So far, 6 Israelis have been killed. There are many, many injured, including pregnant women.
US President Donald Trump has earlier warned Hamas, calling his message a last warning and stating that Israel had accepted his terms. We are now once again joined by Ali to discuss this. Ali, of course, Israel have accepted this deal. Hamas has said it will release all the hostages previously. However, what is most in contention here is that if it will lay down its arms. Do you think it's likely do you think there's any likely movement on this deal? Do you think Hamas will agree to these conditions?
First of all, the proposal that put it by Donald Trump about release the whole hostages, either they are alive or the remain body of them in one time, and then after that going for a temporary truce between Hamas and Israel and also continue the negotiation. I guess Hamas is not going to accept this deal because the only supporting card with Hamas, the powerful card, is the hostages. If the Hamas release the hostages, I guess this is the mentality of Hamas. There is no guarantee that Israel will not resume the war like what we have seen in the mid of March 2025. Suddenly Israel resumed the war without any warning, without any excuses. So also about lie down the weapon, I guess Hamas is not going to accept it at all. We have seen, as an example, Hezbollah, after the truce and the ceasefire with Israel, and now it's going after 4 months, it's going to complete 1 year. Hezbollah is not going to lie down its weapon because they consider it as an honor and they consider it as the one strongest a card for them in case Israel is going to invade South Lebanon. The same mentality with Hamas. And also worth mentioning that, Thomas, what is the weapon? Hamas using AK-47 and using some anti-tank missiles. It doesn't have the arsenal like what we are thinking. So this is just only this term to lie down Hamas, its weapon, this is just to take advance from Benjamin Netanyahu to maintain the war, to maintain his power on the government, to maintain his longevity to ruling Israel for coming election next year. So the things is more complicated. Hamas, in my opinion, if Hamas in case accepted the deal and released the whole captive, there is no guarantee for Israel will not stop the war.
Yes, and now let's move over to Donald Trump. He's issued something that he's called a last warning to Hamas. What do you think of his statements, especially as the US is a mediator in this conflict?
It's always Donald Trump. He's coming on the controversial statement, the last warning, and I'm giving them like was last in the very beginning when he housed the White House. And he said Hamas should be released the whole captive at one time. That in the first deal between Hamas and Israel. And also after that time, he said, at this phase when that, during the last year. So But Donald Trump is always with his sarcastic statement and with his sarcastic state making some, I don't know, he's just only want to put pressure. And either he's serious or no, what he can do. Hamas, Palestinians in Gaza desperate. They have nothing to lose more than. Hamas has nothing lose to more than. So all the Hamas leader, the first line of Hamas, the supreme leader of Hamas, and also the commander of Hamas have been assassinated during the war. Hamas has nothing except the hostages. So what it will happen? Also worth mentioning, during the Israeli-American soldier, when Hamas released it with no deal, with no, with no negotiation, deal it with, release him without exchange the Palestinian prisoner to show their good intents with regard, Donald Trump. Hamas take nothing.
Yes.
There is no obtain of these things. So I guess Hamas take a hard lesson from releasing Alexander, the American-Israeli soldier. So now the situation will be more complicated. On the ground, only civilians casualties. Palestinians on the ground lambasting Hamas. They are asking to accept the deal at any cost, with any things. They just want to, end the war.
Yes.
You can't imagine the people when they are desperate from their home, displaced from their home. And it's a very difficult notion.
Yes,
Thomas.
Ali Mohammed Abushbak, thank you very much for joining us here on the programme. Pleasure to speak to you as always. We now move over